Yo dudes, I'm DJ and today I'm going to show you how to get to orbit fast in Kerbal Space Program on Science Mode. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is start a new game. Click Start New and select Science Mode. Sandbox is all the parts are available. You can go crazy right off the bat. Science Mode, you have to do science and do experiments, and the science points allow you to progress further and unlock more parts. Career mode is just like science mode. There's a few key differences, but basically you have to earn money in order to buy each individual rocket part, and it incentivizes you to be more careful with your money. You can change the difficulty options, include stock vessels, gives you a bunch of rockets and planes already built, ready to go, indestructible facilities. If you crash or have a failure in your rocket, bad staging, you don't lose all your buildings. That's mostly important in career mode, I think. Science rewards, when I was starting out, it was really hard to get science. Felt like it was way too much of a grind, so you can crank that sucker up and make it a lot easier on you and unlock those bigger and better parts without having to grind so much. But let's get started. Alright, here we are at the Kerbal Space Center. Got the mission control, spaceplane hangar, runway, astronaut complex, administration building, research and development, tracking station, launch pad, and the vehicle assembly building, or VAB. Few of these don't really matter in science. I don't think mission control, administration, I think, yeah, see that one's doesn't matter. But astronaut complex, we can actually hire more astronauts. They're free in science mode, not in career mode. Tracking station, when you have things out in space, you can track them. Launch pad, obviously. Spaceplane hangar, that's where you build space planes. And the runway is where you fly space planes. We're going to start with the VAB. So, to get started, we're going to select a pod. Now, we don't have many parts, so we're just going to use this little SRB, solid rocket booster. Throw some wings on her, keep it stable. We're going to use a parachute for sure. We need that. We need science. Mystery goo. We need that. And we are going to make sure that we have the scientist for these. I could put more mystery goo, but I want to be able to reset them. I don't want to have like 4 mystery goos, because we can probably get 4 experiments maybe out of this first flight. We'll see how it goes. Another thing we can do is turn down the throttle on this a bit. Is a very powerful rocket. See, that's still a super high TWR. Let's go for like 60. That's still pretty high, but might be kind of fun. You can color it too to match the wings. That looks pretty good. I don't think we need anything else. We can name it the pod, and let's launch. Alright, here we are at the launch pad with our pod on top of this little boom tube. Now, before we get launching, first thing we're going to do is do some science. Because just like the ocean over there, just like those mountains over there, the launch pad is a biome. And so is the VAB and all those other buildings I showed you. They're all a biome. So one thing you can do is drive around to all of those and you can get a bunch of experiments done without ever leaving the ground. We'll get to that in another video. For now, what we're going to do is do an EVA report. We're going to collect and reset. I think you have to collect first, but I think I got it in time. Collect and reset the mystery goo if you brought a scientist. And another important thing is to take the data of that crew report. If you do that, you can keep doing that crew report over and over again. If you don't, you can't, obviously. So now we're going to board again. Another thing to look for is staging. We didn't change the staging, so all of this just stayed in the same stage. We're going to get the rocket on stage 1 and the parachute on stage 0. If we wouldn't have done that, the parachute would have gone off at the same time as the rocket, and it would have pulled us back as soon as we started going up. So, when you're ready to launch, you can hit T for stability assist, and Z and X are for liquid fuel. Solid rocket boosters, they don't have throttle control, but Z is throttle all the way up, control throttles back down, shift throttles back up incrementally. Z and X on off. Now, space will launch us. Here we go. I'm gonna roll a little bit because I am triangular, and I'm going to start pitching back. I'm going to also run a crew report. Going to run, oh, I didn't click the mystery goo, did I? Oh, there it is. Yep, there's that. And then once we slow down in our vertical speed, we can hold on, we're flying pretty good. This is going to be a pretty good flight. EVA, do a quick EVA report, quickly take the data, and let's just board. We're not going to worry about that mystery goo. We have the other one. That's what we brought it for. Now we can use those aerodynamics to our advantage and get us nice and far into the water. I don't think running another crew report will get us anything. Flying above Kerbin shores, launch pad, flying above Kerbin's water. Let's do another mystery goo, and then let's hit the parachute. Switch that to retrograde. The parachute is set to look up really, really low. There we go. Now let's do another EVA real quick. EVA. Collect and restore. Take data and B. So some of those were a duplicate. Let's see, yeah, some of those were duplicates. That's okay. I want to make sure that we get maximum science. Now let's just fast forward to splashdown. Ooh, that was a little rough. Okay, and guess what? Time for more science. EVA report, take a surface sample. You know what? I think I might have been able to take a surface sample from the rocket. I'm not entirely sure. And we don't have to take the data again because we already have that data. So I'm pretty sure that's all the science. Let's see. Let's see how much we got. Hopefully it's over 50 this time. 58 science. Oh yeah. Alright, so that's the first mission all said and done. Alright, now that we got some science, let's spend that science. We're gonna go to R&D. Now we're going to want basic rocketry for sure, and engineering 101. Let's not quite get that just yet. Let's see. Oh. Okay. Go with and I do ideally want to get space plane stuff right now, but I think actually this will help us with being orbital more at the moment. So let's do that. Now we're going to build the next rocket. So I'm just going to start a new craft, and I'm going to do a similar rocket to the last one, just a little bit better. Let's see what we have new. Just gonna go through them real fast. Okay, so I think we'd have to get real crazy to get suborbital. Or not to get suborbital, to get orbital. So we're just gonna shoot for suborbital. That means we're gonna hit space, but we're not gonna quite hit orbit. As you can see, I am fumbling to talk and build at the same time. But just start out with it. So pod, parachute, in a service bay on the bottom. Now we're gonna put a heat shield on it. It doesn't necessarily need one, but I mean, a real flight would have one. We're gonna cut the ablator back though, because it does not need the strength of ablator that it has on there for what it's going to deal with. Then we're gonna put this on some fuel tanks. I'm gonna do these ones for this upper stage. Yeah, those look good. Yeah, I can do the Reliant. Think so. We'll be fine. We're gonna also throw these drogue parachutes on to help slow us down some more. Hopefully we don't overwhelm that one with the weight we're gonna put in here. We don't really have that much tech actually to put in there, but what we do have, and actually let's spin this like this, make sure that's on good. Now this could actually be a pretty decent lander setup right here, just with one of these and a shorter engine, but keep that in mind. I mean, you can get that basic with the game. So we're gonna jam this full of some science. Now, I don't know why it does not want to stick to the bottom there. This will do it up top. Okay, do it like that. Throw this in there. Throw some thermometers in there. Do let's just stick this on the top. Let's do it off the back. Alright. Now that's a pretty decent ship, a pretty decent rocket. If I had some more stuff to put in there, I would. Just don't really have much still. Not much in here. I'm gonna throw, in the interest of weight, we will not do that. Let's start building the next stage. Okay. Now for this one, do these ones. And I think that should be plenty. That might actually be overkill. Not certain. Let's see. Let's get rid of like 2. That looks a little better. Okay, yep, that's actually, I think that's orbital speed. But we may not have enough fuel to slow down. We will see. We could get orbital. That'd be really good. That proved my point already. We're gonna call this the tall pod. And am I forgetting anything? Let's check our staging now. We can actually just combine this because I probably just want it to shoot us out at the same time. That's all good. Oh, look, see? Checking your staging can save your butt. Oh, come on. Sometimes the snap can get finicky, but you'll get used to it. One thing you can do that helps is use rigid attachment. It's kind of cheating, I guess some would say, maybe. I don't think so. I think it just sort of gets rid of the noodle ship effect you get, especially when you're building like this. So let's go ahead and just rigid attachment everything. Usually it's most important near those joints, but we're just gonna rigid attachment all the things. Heat shield, not rigid attachment. Rigid attachment. Rigid attachment. Alright, let's launch the sucker. Alright, we are ready to go. I already set some control groups. To set control groups in game, you can go here, and basically one is just the one key, and you can click on an item and set it to automatically activate. We set those for the science units so that we can do them very quickly without having to do a bunch of clicking, because I've flown this a couple of times and we either barely miss orbital, and I usually end up missing suborbital too because I'm trying to hit orbital, or we just totally flat out mess it up. So I think we're only going to hit suborbital with this. I don't know, I've gotten really close to orbit. This time might be the one. Let's see. So right off the bat, I'm just going to start kicking it over just slightly, just little taps. You just don't want to move too far too soon. There's like little lines here, and you basically want to be on that one at 50, this one at 100, or 150, and just gradually move forward. And you want to finish right here on this 90, or the 45 level, but right on that 90 if you're going this direction at 10,000 meters in altitude. Just kind of keep near that prograde vector, keep turning it over real slowly, caps lock does smaller incremental movements if your rocket is really twitchy. You can also just lower your gimbal and try again, but who wants to do that, right? So here we are at that 45 degree. I didn't quite have it early enough, but we're gonna get some height first, I guess. Don't know that this is the most efficient flight path, but it's all I know, damn it. It's all I know. Now, go up the rest of the way. Let's actually kill that. Let's get a little higher before I keep wasting our precious fuel, because the higher we get, the more efficient we get. So right now, we're pretty much out of the atmosphere. Do a crew report, run some science. And just keep on that throttle real gently. Right now we're just getting some altitude and some speed as well. I may end up missing on the height, I don't know. No, doesn't look like it. Looks like we'll be fine. But I probably, once again, won't get orbital. I just don't think that these engines are really going to cut it. If I would have hooked more on there, thrown some boosters on, of course, but I did not want to throw boosters on just yet. We didn't quite have the decouplers for it either. We're pretty close to orbital. We may hit orbital just barely and may end up having to take Bob back down, or just make it so that we barely don't become orbital, because we're not going to be able to slow down. We're almost out of fuel, and I don't think if we get orbital, we're going to be able to come back with the rocket. We're almost all the way up in space again. Oh, look at this. We might get it. We might get it, boys and girls, or just barely miss it. In fact, I'm going to save here. Yeah, we're just barely going to miss it. So we're actually going to use that last bit of delta V to slow us back down when we come down. Let's run some more science. Hurry, do a quick EVA. Do a quick taking of some data. Take, collect, restore. Now our rocket was actually turning the way we wanted anyways. That's good. So yeah, just right here, I'm just going to give it a little... That's all we have left. Now, I'm going to detach from the booster. It's spent. It's done its job. Look at, we're so close. Just a few more delta V is all it would have been. But then again, we wouldn't have been able to get back. We would have been completely out. The next flight will be orbit. I'm just going to fast forward through all this. It's self-explanatory. Keep it pointed retrograde. Speed on through. And yeah, I'm going to fast forward through this for a little while. Alright, we are slowly floating down. I activated the parachutes really soon. I thought we were much closer to those mountains than we were. But, guess what this means? Another biome. More science, baby! And let's be it. So I'm gonna time warp this, but I'm gonna probably just cut it out or fast forward it for you guys. Alright, there we are, nice and landed. You probably saw me cut the parachute and float the rest of the way down. But don't forget to do your extra science when you land. If you land in a different spot than you've been before, do that science, buddy. And EVA report, take a surface sample where you land, board, and recover that sucker. Let's see what sort of numbers we got. Hopefully it's good. That was a lot of science. Did a lot of experiments. 153, oh yeah. Or 126 to a total of 153. Sweet. I think it's just shy of what we want though. Let's do that for sure. Let's do that. And that. And we can do that. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Alright dudes, I'm gonna end the video here. It ran a little long. This is my first video and I wasn't even sure I could make a 12-minute video. Definitely not 30 minutes. So I know I said I was gonna get to orbit and we missed, but that's alright because the next video we're gonna make it to orbit and then to the moon. So like and subscribe to see the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!